Hello everyone and welcome to this presentation on Convolutional Neural Networks, or CNNs. Today we will explore together one of the most important architectures in deep learning, a technology that has revolutionized the field of computer vision. CNNs are at the heart of many applications you use daily, such as facial recognition, autonomous driving, and medical image analysis. Let's start by understanding why we need CNNs. Traditional neural networks, like multi-layer perceptrons or MLPs, treat images as flat one-dimensional vectors. This means they completely lose the spatial relationships between pixels. For example, if you have a 28 by 28 pixel image, an MLP would transform it into a vector of 784 values, completely ignoring that certain pixels are neighbors. This approach leads to poor accuracy because it ignores pixel locality, edges, and visual patterns. CNNs solve this problem by preserving the original image structure with its height, width, and color channels. They use local connectivity to detect meaningful features, making them much more efficient for pattern recognition tasks. So what exactly is a CNN? A convolutional neural network is a deep learning architecture specifically designed to process data that has a grid-like structure, such as images. The beauty of CNNs lies in their ability to automatically learn spatial features. They can detect edges, textures, shapes, and even complex objects, all in a hierarchical manner. The early layers learn simple features like lines and edges, while deeper layers combine these elements to recognize more complex structures. Today, CNNs form the foundation of most modern computer vision applications. Here is an overview of a typical CNN architecture. The data flow follows a well-defined path. The input image first passes through a convolution layer, then through a ReLU activation function, followed by a pooling layer. This block can be repeated multiple times to extract increasingly abstract features. Then the feature maps are flattened into a vector, which is processed by fully connected layers, or dense layers, to produce the final output. This diagram illustrates the pipeline that we will detail in the upcoming slides. Let's now examine each component of the CNN architecture in detail. First, the convolution layer. This is the heart of the CNN. It applies filters, also called kernels, to the image to extract features like edges, lines, and textures. Each filter creates what we call a feature map. Second, the activation function, usually ReLU. It introduces non-linearity into the model, allowing the network to learn complex patterns. Third, the pooling layer. It reduces the size of feature maps, which decreases computational cost and helps prevent overfitting. Max pooling is the most common method. Fourth, the flatten layer. It converts 2D feature maps into a 1D vector. Finally, the fully connected layers perform the final classification based on the extracted features. Before going further, let's understand what convolution is from a mathematical perspective. Convolution is a mathematical operation that combines two functions or matrices to produce a third function. This new function expresses how the shape of one is modified by the other. In the context of CNNs, we multiply the input image by filters to produce feature maps. This operation captures important local features and constitutes the fundamental operation behind feature extraction. It is thanks to this operation that CNNs can detect patterns at different scales in the image. The convolution layer is the first building block of a CNN. The convolution operation uses a kernel or filter, which is a small matrix that slides over the image. Here's how it works. For each position of the filter on the image, we perform element-wise multiplication between the filter and the corresponding region of the image. Then we sum all the results. This sum becomes a single value in the feature map. Each filter learns to detect specific patterns. Some filters detect horizontal edges, others vertical edges, and others detect corners or curves. It is this diversity of filters that allows the CNN to capture a wide variety of visual features. Let's talk in more detail about filters, also called kernels. Filters are small matrices containing weights and biases. These weights are shared across the entire image, which is called weight sharing. This weight sharing is very important because it significantly reduces the number of parameters to learn, making the network more efficient and less prone to overfitting. Each filter is specialized to extract a particular pattern. Some detect edges, others textures, and others shapes. When we use multiple filters, we get multiple feature maps, each capturing a different aspect of the image. Let's look at a concrete example to better understand. Imagine a 32 by 32 grayscale image representing a handwritten digit. Its pixel values form a 2D matrix. We apply a 3 by 3 filter to this image. In diagrams, the kernel weights might be represented by 1 for white cells and 0 for black cells. An important question arises. Do we manually choose these weights? The answer is no. These weights are learned automatically during training through backpropagation. This is what makes CNNs so powerful. They discover for themselves which filters are most useful for the task at hand. Let's now detail exactly how the convolution operation works. The process unfolds as follows. First, we place the 3x3 filter at the top left of the image. Then, we multiply each kernel value with the corresponding pixel of the image. Next, we sum all these products to get a single pixel of the output feature map. After that, we move the filter to the right by one step, called the stride. We repeat the operation. When we reach the right edge, we move down one row and start again from the left. This process continues until the entire image is covered. The result forms a new matrix called the convolved feature map. Stride is a crucial parameter in convolution. The stride represents the number of pixels the filter moves at each step. With a stride of 1, the filter moves 1 pixel at a time. This produces high-resolution feature maps with lots of detail. With a stride greater than 1, the filter skips pixels. This reduces the output size, speeds up computations, but at the cost of losing some details. The choice of stride is a trade-off between resolution and computational efficiency. A stride of 2 reduces each dimension by half. Padding is another important technique in CNNs. Padding involves adding extra pixels, usually zeros, around the input image. Why use padding? There are 3 main reasons. First, it preserves the spatial dimensions after convolution. Second, it prevents the progressive shrinking of feature maps. Third, it allows filters to properly process edge pixels. There are 3 types of padding: valid padding or no padding, where the last convolution is dropped if dimensions don't align. Same padding, which ensures the output has the same size as the input. Full padding, which increases the output size by adding more zeros at the borders. Let's now see how to calculate the output size. The size of the output feature map depends on several factors. The kernel size, for example, 3x3. The stride, that is, the step size of the filter movement. The padding, whether we add pixels around the image or not. The formula is output size equals input size minus kernel size plus 2 times padding divided by stride plus 1. The larger the stride, the smaller the output feature map will be. This calculation is essential for designing a CNN architecture and ensuring that dimensions are consistent between layers. Let's now talk about the activation function, particularly ReLU. ReLU, which stands for Rectified Linear Unit, is the most commonly used activation function in CNNs. It is simply defined as f of x equals the maximum of 0 and x. This means that all negative values are replaced by 0, while positive values remain unchanged. The main advantage of ReLU is that it helps prevent the vanishing gradient problem, a common issue with deep networks. Additionally, ReLU is very fast to compute, which speeds up training. The pooling layer is another essential component of CNNs. Its role is to extract the most important features from the feature maps while reducing their size. Why is pooling important? It reduces dimensionality, which decreases computational cost. It helps control overfitting. It makes detection more robust to small shifts in the image. There are several types of pooling. Max pooling selects the maximum value in each region. Sum pooling adds up the values. Average pooling computes the average. For example, applying a 2x2 max pooling with a stride of 2 reduces the feature map size by half in each dimension. The flatten layer plays a simple but crucial role. After the last convolution and pooling layers, we have 2D feature maps. The flatten layer converts these 2D feature maps into a 1D vector. This transformation is necessary because the fully connected layers that follow expect a vector as input, not a matrix. It's a bit like unrolling an image. We take all the values from the feature maps and align them into a single long sequence. This sequence contains all the features extracted by the previous layers, ready to be used for classification. Fully connected layers, or dense layers, form the final stage of a CNN. Here's how they work. The 2D feature maps are first flattened into a 1D vector by the flatten layer. This vector then passes through one or more dense layers, often with ReLU activation. Finally, a softmax layer produces probabilities for each class. For example, for handwritten digit recognition, the output would be a vector of 10 probabilities, one for each digit from 0 to 9. The class with the highest probability becomes the network's final prediction.